All right. Thank you so much, Gautam, for such an insightful, you can say, the journey all around of AiSensy that we have done with the businesses and have been catering with WhatsApp plus AI. So, we are heading into the session of what has already been an action-packed day, and we are saving some more for the last, right? Up next is a very special fireside chat featuring two sharp entrepreneurial minds. Joining us on stage, Mitul, founder and CEO of Coditas, a company that has scaled and has been building high quality software and scaling sustainability. And hosting this conversation is none other than Gautam, founder and CEO of AiSensy. So settle in because this one's going to be the packed with straight talk and real takeaways. So let's give it to the moment for Mitul and Gautam. Over to you, Gautam. Let's give a big round of applause, guys. Come on, show some energy to it. We are having Dubai Wall.
Hi guys, I'm back. Cool. So I have the opportunity to host one of my favorites companies that I've heard a long time ago, but I never got to meet you, Mitul. But thanks a lot for coming up. And Coditas is something I've heard from 3 years now, and you're doing a pretty amazing job. I would like to start off by asking you, what does Coditas do? If I had to share that in your words, what does it do for the audience? Yeah.
Sure. So Coditas is essentially helping any business today solve business problems by building custom software for it. So we just help people build software for solving their problems using the latest and greatest technologies. For the last 2 years, I would say since AI, Gen AI is the latest and greatest, a lot of our focus has moved towards AI, Gen AI consulting now.
Amazing. Would you mind sharing what kind of enterprises do you actually work with? What kind of enterprises you work with?
Right. So we have a very large range and variety of clients. So we have literally from JP Morgan and Chase, which is, I would say, one of the largest banks in the world, to clients who are managing horses and stables. So, right from horses to the top banks in the world, to even determining whether you are prone to cancer based on genetics. So it's a very large variety of clients. We've never focused that much earlier. We're starting to focus now due to various reasons, but our breadth is very large right now.
Amazing. I would like to start, a bit from the start. I've taken a lot of podcasts, so I'll get into that zone a bit for a while, and then we'll move on to AI. What I want to know is, how did you get started? Today you have an 800 people company, right? And you serve global brands. What kicked off this journey? What inspired you initially to, that this is something that you want to go after?
Right. I would say it's not a single instance, but multiple things. So I grew up in an entrepreneurial community. So my background is I was born and brought up in Kenya, East Africa, but was amongst the trading community in Kenya, where so everyone around me was an entrepreneur. It was just my nuclear family. My dad was a doctor, mom was a teacher, who are not. So I was the only one who kind of went to high school and went to college. But the entrepreneurial bug was already in me. I wanted to do something. So before Coditas, I did a few businesses. The first was so this is 20 plus years ago when I graduated out of college. So I went to IIT Bombay, and after that, when I came out, at that time I realized that in India, second-hand laptops in India are pretty expensive, and in the rest of the world they are being discarded as e-waste. So I decided to import them in India and sell them. So that was my first business. I encountered a problem, which is exactly the name, the e-waste policy, which did not allow dumping of laptops in India, so that business was kind of halted. I did a restaurant, I did a few other businesses, and then finally, Coditas was what I ended up doing. The earlier businesses were largely side businesses, doing along while I was working as a software developer somewhere. So I would say it was an instinct that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, internally, and then finally the journey led me to Coditas.
And what did you learn from your previous businesses that you would have applied in Coditas that made this work?
Yeah, I think all my previous businesses were kind of different from 2, 3 angles. One, I was not full-time on them. I was always working as a software developer somewhere and trying to build a business. So lack of focus was one. Second, I was trying to build a business for the sake of building a business without me being two things. One is not passionate about it, and second, being an expert. I was trying to run a restaurant. Neither was I very passionate about restaurant, nor was I an expert in it. But it was just because I wanted to build a business. So I went retro and thought, okay, what are the things? I was super passionate about software building. I was an expert in software building. And could jump into it full time. So I think those three things are what I did for Coditas, and I think that's what made a difference. And passion combined with expertise, combined with focus is what has led me to Coditas.
So when you have 800 people in a company, right, that's a huge number to manage. And what I've read a lot is that you manage a very good code quality, right? Which is today very tough to get in general. And with AI coming up, it messes up a lot. So how do you instill that culture from day one, saying that, okay, the code quality has to be sound? What are the systems that you have built, and what was the change? Like a 50 people company would operate in a different fashion and 800 would operate in a different fashion. What were the systems then and what are the systems now?
Right. So two parts to your question, right? So number one, quality. So quality was the genesis of the company, right? As in why I started Coditas was the primary reason was I worked in the software development industry in India for 10 years. India for software was known for cost and volume. Unfortunately, it was not known for quality. And the interesting part was it was the same developers who would transform into a different setup, go to US and be praised for quality. So it was not the ability, but the setup of how the software development industry in India was, which prevented quality from being the selling point. There's this entire concept called clean code, which was how to build software the right way, the clean code way, which was largely unknown. And we chose to evangelize that in India, and that's how we started. Now, my belief is strongly that you cannot teach someone something they don't believe in, or you cannot ask them to practice something they don't believe in. So I always try to ensure my entire team understands why quality is important for them. In fact, I use this story which every team member at Coditas would have heard, and some of you may have heard earlier. It's a story about a carpenter. A carpenter who was working on a backside of a cupboard. Okay? And he was spending his best craftsmanship, best time, best tools to work on a back side of a cupboard. Someone was passing by and asked him, why are you wasting your time on a back side of a cupboard? Just take a plywood, nails and hit it and be done with it. No one will ever know. You know the carpenter replied? I will know. This is my work first. I first work for myself. I am the most important person for myself. I should produce output which I am proud of. And that's the inherent thing. That's the story which I strongly believe in. That everyone should inherently produce something that they are first proud of. The quality should matter to you first before you give it to someone else. Now this is something you should inherently build.
We'll give a round of applause for this.
Right? If you work with this philosophy, you are bound to understand why quality matters. And your clients will see the quality. Right? So we are 10 years into the business. For the first 8 years of our business, we had zero sales and marketing.
Okay.
Absolute zero sales and marketing. Not a dollar spent. No team members.
How were you promoting the business then?
Our clients were our salesmen. They referred us. They experienced great quality, great experience, and they would refer us to the clients. Word of mouth. We went from a team of 2 people in a room to 800 plus team members without sales and marketing, without any funding, zero funding. The total amount of dollars that I put in was when I started the business, $1,500. That's it.
Damn.
And today, of course, the revenue is in tens of millions of dollars.
Right.
Bootstrapped fully on, purely on this philosophy. And I strongly believe in this. Quality sells. Quality is the foundation of the business. And everyone should understand this. Entire team understands this. And there's no substitute. You can't teach someone which is something they don't believe. You can't ask them to practice on. So that's the fundamental for us.
Why did you would have got a lot of offers of funding, right? Definitely a lot of people would have approached you, right?
Yes.
What made you stay to the decision of, staying bootstrapped, building it for the long run and saying, okay, I'll wait 4 years, for 3 years for this kind of revenue, but I'll not go for the funded option?
So, multiple factors. So, I run a services business, essentially. And I'm profitable from day one. This comes from the mentality of me coming from a trading community where, for traders, you buy at some price X, you sell at X plus Y, you make profit from day one. So for me, business means profit from a very young age. So the business was profitable from the first month. So cash was not a problem. So why do you go for funding? To take for money, typically.
Right.
So that was not a problem. So for the last 10 years, we've been profitable with generating bill. I don't know what I would do with cash because we were growing organically. We didn't have a growth marketing strategy then. Number 3, which I've learned over a period of time, is that when you get investors, you are answerable. You lose focus, right? And I've seen this and I've spoken to a lot of, some of our philosophies would be anti-investors. We never work towards a quarterly target, a monthly target, annual target. Our focus is long-term. We have principles, which we are not answerable to investors, to shareholders. We are answerable to ourselves. And that kind of freedom is something I don't want to give up on, at least right now.
Got it. And how do you, so from an agency model of a services model business, I would say everyone in services or everyone in product, it doesn't matter that, everyone want big, large clients. Everyone want enterprises to work for them, and you have worked with so many enterprises over the years. How did you get those initial set of enterprises and how did you get them converted? And how much months does it take for you to, go for an enterprise that is solving for cancer or in these deep tech spaces?
Now, frankly speaking, enterprise clients are very difficult to crack for companies like us who initially did not have sales and marketing and account management. The way we have enterprise clients today is because we were helping build a small company, their solution, and then that company got acquired by a large enterprise. The large enterprise would have, a lot of them have tried to replace us, they could not because we were the DNA of the company which they acquired, and we are now their clients. So we are in business for the last 10 years. There are clients who I started with 10 years ago who are still our clients. We are their main team, right? And 10, 9, 8, we have clients who are long standing with us and with us. And some of them have gone acquired multiple times, but we are still the core team across the acquisitions. And some of them are like JP Morgan and Chase is a client of us because they acquired our earlier client. So nice. Very honestly, we want to be able to crack enterprise deals and we have to change for that and we are doing that right now. Our current DNA does not, or our current structure does not allow. So we are not good at enterprise deals yet.
Also, you've been building, so initially it would just be, I think, software development, app development, all of that. But now you've been moving towards AI since the requirement has picked up. What are some of the common requirements that you have seen that, okay, these 25 enterprises, different industries, but the requirement is more or less the same in AI. And the demand for that is growing up.
Right. So AI is something we strongly believe in because I'm a technologist. I know the fundamental shift in technology. This is not keyword, this is not fad. As a company, as technologists, we were not on the NFT, Web3 as much. Those were keywords for us. A blockchain is a data structure for me. Gen AI is fundamentally business shifting. It's a breakthrough. Now, what we typically do is when we talk to a client, a lot of our clients or people we talk to want to do AI because they hear AI. They don't know what AI can do for them or what AI can actually do otherwise. And we want to stay honest and tell them that AI is not magic. And we get into the consulting mode initially, that AI is applicable and helps everyone, right? But do it for the right purpose, right? So, like for example, the first description I gave them about the current way Gen AI is impacting. What is Gen AI? Gen AI is basically now giving the ability to computers to be able to understand humans in natural ways. Natural language, images are things earlier computers could not understand. With Gen AI, that's been facilitated. And that's the breakthrough. That's the essential breakthrough. What is a large language model? It's just the next word prediction at the heart. It's just predicting the next word and it's built on top of that. Now you use those fundamentals to grow on top of it and see how it's helping in the business. And see, Gen AI, the biggest problem today is that it is a non-deterministic system. So there in the software world, there are two things we talk about: deterministic, non-deterministic. Deterministic means that anytime you give a particular input, you can predict the output will always be the same. 1 plus 1 will always be 2. In the Gen AI world, it can be 1.9 or 2.1. And that kind of unpredictability is not acceptable in a lot of scenarios. It is acceptable in some scenarios. That kind of awareness needs to be there, right? So the right way to any enterprise or anyone adopting is first understand why they're doing it. And some people are doing it for the reason that it's a keyword. I want to appear relevant. That's fine. Be clear about your purpose. It's a keyword I want to insert in my product because I want to go for funding. At least be honest and clear about it internally. That's what I would say.
Right. Also, what are some of the AI use cases or projects that you have delivered in the recent past and where you have seen a good use case coming up?
Yeah, so we have done quite a few areas because we have our own product in AI. We have an agent orchestration platform, AI agent orchestration platform, which we are working on. But some of the, and because we are now focused a lot more on US healthcare, there are some very good use cases which we have built and are actually in production also. One of them is, which is because this particular use case, we've built it without AI and AI, I know the difference very clearly. So there is a guideline document in natural language which comes from authorities which say based on your genome type, whether you are prone to cancer and whether you should go for a test. It's a large document in natural language. So we took a few years to build a rule engine which based on your genome type will tell you which test you should go for. With Gen AI, you can directly query the document with RAG.
Okay.
And we built the same solution within a week. So man years versus a week.
Nice.
And we had 5,000 test cases which we had pre-written, which passed earlier. They passed with the new solution. So over here, the point is, we already had a solution, but something which took us man years to build was built in a man weeks, right? So that's just one example. It's not that we built a new solution. Then there are other solutions which are very good when you're coming. In US healthcare, there is something called pre-auth for insurance. Automating that flow and making it faster for someone to be able to access insurance earlier is life-changing and even life-saving. Those are areas where we are able to, with that technology and solution in place, the turnaround times are so fast that the whole entire process is going faster. So those are the kind of solutions that we are currently working on. There are quite a few more. Yeah.
Amazing. And you would have hundreds of software engineers, right? And how are you, enabling them to use AI, and what percentage do you see today, they are coding via AI, or do you ask them to do that? Do you not ask to them? What's the structure internally?
Right. So AI is very good at coding is something I strongly believe in, and it's a fact. The very simple thing I tell everyone is that as a user of AI tools like ChatGPT, you have noticed that you take any paragraph in English and ask it to translate in Spanish, it'll do a very good job. Excellent job, very accurate job. English has more than 100,000 words. Spanish has more than few 100,000 words. English and Spanish have very complex grammar rules. Some of them are very ambiguous, but AI is doing a good job. Programming, any language will not have more than 100 keywords, less than 1,000 factor. The rules in software programming are clear, finite. Definite number, no ambiguity. So if AI can translate from English to Spanish, can it translate from Java to C? Of course it can. So AI translate from English to Java? Of course it can. So the question about whether AI can code is no longer there. So that's one thing developers and everyone should be very clearly aware. Now there are tools which are coming which are able to tell the person, so you need systems thinking, you need logic, and it will also accelerate development, right? I just posted recently that Airbnb had a project that they wanted to do. The initial effort was 78 weeks. if no AI was used. But they went ahead and used AI and did it in 6 weeks.
Nice.
So it's coming and it is evolving, and it's evolving at a very fast pace. Today, it is of course not autonomous, where humans in the loop in the required, and they'll continue to be required. It's empowering humans, it's empowering software developers to be better. So the choice is not longer whether should I or not. It's how fast can you adopt. You'll have to adopt and adapt. Otherwise, your role will not be there. So that's a clarity we give the team. And there are lots of tools. Today, I would say Cursor is one of the best tools, but it's timestamp. Okay, it was a best tool some time ago. I don't know today because the world is evolving so fast. It might be Windsurf might be better today. Right. Lots of AI-enabled integrated development environments like Cursor, which are making development very fast and very good. So software development is an area which is, like almost every other area in AI, getting affected strong.
Is software development in threat? Like, would you tomorrow see that out of 600 engineers or 700 engineers, you would just have half of the engineers doing the equivalent work, or you would keep the same engineers and get more work? What would be the model?
See, if the amount of work remains constant and productivity increases, then you need lesser engineers. But people are disregarding the fact that the amount of work is going to increase. What was not possible earlier is now going to be possible. Right. So the volume of work which is going to be required to be done is increasing as well. So as our company, we are not seeing the reduction. We are also big adopters and early adopters of AI. If the amount of work stayed constant, yes, 100%. But the work is also increasing. Today or in the near future, everyone should be able to have a highly customized software solution only for their own needs. Today, you end up using a pre-packaged solution which 100,000 businesses use, but it is not exactly customized to yourself. Later, that is going to be possible because it's easier to do it and cheaper to do it. So the volume of work is increasing, and the type of work is increasing. What was not possible earlier is also increasing. So it's a debate, I agree. Now, I cannot predict one way or the other, in all honesty.
And what kind of engineers would you hire? Would you hire more ML AI engineers? So this is a two-part question. One is for a newer company. They want to build a new AI product. Should they just go for ML engineers and software engineers with just software knowledge, with Stack or whatever stack they use for software building? And internally, internally someone who has a company who has software engineers, should they train them in AI and then get things done? What is the model that you follow as of now, and what should a new company follow?
No, I don't think anyone needs to understand again, it depends on what you were doing, right? If you're building a large language model, you need AI engineers. Right. If you're building a software application, you don't need AI engineers because you're going to be interacting with and if you're building a front end, right, you don't need, in today's world, we have front end engineers, we have back end engineers, right? Theoretically, the front end engineers need not know the back end engineers need not know the DevOps, theoretically. Right. Some of them are full stack. So unless you are building a large language model or something in core AI, you don't need the AI, Gen AI, machine learning knowledge. What you need is logic. What you need is solutioning. So what I would say, the role of software developers today has to transform into solution creators. Okay, it is not that you now need to know how to write code. You now need to know how to solve a problem. Understanding code is an added advantage.
Also, what other jobs than software do you see will get affected? Like, I natively believe that all junior roles in terms of, let's suppose, hiring, right? With an MCP or without an MCP or with a browser use feature, I can actually have an agent go to LinkedIn and screen the profiles and send a message to them for the first round. Whatever is done by a person today by making calls or screening, that can be replaced. Do you see that this is going to come very soon? And what all roles do you see in an organization will just transform and just go off tomorrow?
As I mentioned, right? If you needed 10 engineers to the same task, you now need 3 engineers, and across the board. Okay, some of them are genuinely getting wiped out. For example, if there was someone earlier whose role was to document code, you don't need that anymore. Number one, you can put a piece of code anywhere and get English language out of it. So documentation itself is not needed. But if you still want to document it, document can be generated automatically. Testing, there's AI testing which is happening. Okay, so everywhere there is a good amount of replacement happening, but it's more of productivity increase because the smarter folks within the hierarchy are still needed to be able to build the test plans, the thought, the corner cases. So elimination may not be there, reduction may be there, but the volume, it's a complex, I would say, a lot of variables, but a lot of industries are getting affected. A lot of industries, right? Call centers, largely gone, right? Voice today, the AI technology and the voice are going at such a pace that you have AI agents who will be voice agents who can be faster, more knowledgeable, and cheaper. Why will a business not go for them? Now, in your earlier conversation, you mentioned that you want to speak to a human, typically, right? In an IVR, I heard one of the panelists say that you try to look for the fastest way to reach a human. But if the human has a wait time of 9 minutes, and the AI is immediately available, and the AI is able to give you the answer immediately, that trend will change. Even if someone tells you in a non-human robotic voice, but it's giving you the solution, over a period of time, you'll prefer that. In fact, that's no longer the case. The robotic emotion is getting taken care of. It's going at a very fast pace. Unless you'll be told this is AI, in the future, you'll not know AI is interacting with you. Compliance, legal might require you to be informed. But otherwise, that's going. So customer success, I would say support, BPOs, call centers are definitely the first one at risk because that's a problem already cleanly solved. I see no reason. SDRs are getting a lot of roles across image processing, graphics. I saw your demo. The text problem has been solved already with the last version.
Right.
Maybe you're on a slightly earlier model. The last release last week has solved the text problem.
With 4.0 it solved, the API was not available for us.
That's one thing. The text problem is the underlying model has solved the text problem already.
Right.
You just need to change the model.
We just need to change the model. Yeah. Nice. Also, now what we have seen is absolutely you're right. What I realized is that the end customer just needs the answer. They don't care who is actually giving it. Initially, when we were building on an NLP-based chatbot, it used to not be able to answer and make it more an outcome-based situation. Have you built, some AI use cases on WhatsApp or text or voice that have been more outcome-based and helped the customers?
I didn't understand the question.
Any use cases that you have built in AI, be it WhatsApp, using agentic, AI or voice that have brought in more outcomes for the customer in a faster manner?
So we don't have WhatsApp. We have outbound dialers for our clients. Where they are now using this for transcription, real-time information about whom they are talking about, or even now the voice calls being happening. And those cases are pretty like AI SDRs are a reality today.
Okay.
We have not worked on it, but AI bots which operate on WhatsApp are a reality. Right? I don't know if the maids.cc guy was talking about it. That's a pretty common use case that we are seeing across the board now.
Amazing. Any questions, anyone, before we close, before I ask my last questions? Any questions from Mitul? Anyone who would like to ask a question? Around AI, Gen AI, building a company, anything? Cool. Okay, so what would be your advice for someone who is building, a services company in AI, and what if they're just starting off?
See, building a company, it is a generic advice, not only an AI. Right? Be focused on what are you good at and create value. You'll be able to create value wherever. Create quality value for whoever you're doing it, and you'll be successful. That's simple.
How to identify that value?
How do you identify? So there's a problem. You solve the problem. Value is created there, and solve it the right way, the clean way, the quality way. I think it's common sense over there, right? This in the founder world, right? Most founders today are chasing valuation.
Right.
And they fail. If they chase value creation, valuation will follow automatically. The same way is in business. You chase creating value. And that's common sense. I don't think, then you should not start a business. If you're not trying to solve a problem and create value, then you should not. If you don't know how to create value, then you should first figure out how to create value. That's probably the advice. Figure out how to create value. Don't start a business. Figure out how to create value.
Definitely. Thanks a lot, Mitul. Thanks a lot for the amazing session. I learned a lot, and thanks a lot everyone for this.